How you doing today, guys? Welcome back to another day of 7th grade math. Today we're gonna do a quick short talk about angle relationships and hopefully everything that you need to know about angles. Before we start, please subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and other than that, let's get right into it. So, angle relationships. We have different type of angles. Right here, that's a 90-degree angle. However, when we're talking about angle relationships, we're gonna be talking about two angles. Two angles that intersect like that, they're gonna add up to 90 degrees. So for example, if this is X and this is 50, in order to find out what the value of X is, all you have to do is set this equal to 90. So X plus 50 equals 90, and then you can solve for X. Friends and family, we subtract 50. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. So X equals to 40 degrees. To 40. So that means that this angle right here is 40 degrees. This is 50 degrees. So both of them, when you add them, they're 90 degrees, and these are called complementary. And a way to remember that they are complementary is if you make this right here, a little stick right there, that kind of looks like a 9, and with the O represents a 90 for 90 degrees. Then we have what is called supplementary. Supplementary. And these are going to add up to 180 degrees. A good way to remember that this is 180 is if you make a cross like that, that looks like an 8 for 180. Now, supplementary angles, they're going to make a straight line. And there's going to be two angles that when you add up to 180. In this case, if I have an angle like this, these two angles, when they are next to each other, they are going to be called adjacent. Angles next to each other. Angles next to each other are called adjacent. So in this case, let's say I have 3x plus 5, and this is also 50 right there. If I wanted to find the value of X or the angle, all I have to do is set this up and solve for X. So in this case, my total is 180, so this will be 3x plus 5 plus 50 should give me a total of 180. Then I can combine my like terms, which are these two. So I will have 3x plus 55 equals 180. Then I can do friends and family. Make my line right there. Subtract 55. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. This goes away. 180 minus 55 gives me, this is going to be 5, 6, this is going to be 2, 125. Then I haven't used my family, so I'm going to bring it down. So it's going to be 3x equals to 125. Then I have to divide by 3. Divide by 3. Do TiVo. 125 divided by 3. This is going to be 4. That's 12. Subtract, I get 0. Bring down the 5. And this is going to be 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, add a decimal, add a 0. Bring it down. And this is going to be, that's a 2. This is going to be 6. That's 18. That's a 2. And then it's just going to keep repeating. So X equals to 41.6. So the value of X is going to be 41.6. And if you wanted to know this particular angle, it'll be 180 minus 50, which gives you 130. So this angle equals 130 degrees. You could also have set up 3x plus 5 equals 130, and then solve for X the same way, and you should get the same value anyway. After complementary, we have what is called vertical angles. That's when two lines like that intersect. That means that this angle is the same as this angle. However, this angle is the same as this angle. So for example, if angle 1, the measure of angle 1 is 110 or 100, that means that the measure of angle 2 is also 100. So now, if I were to just cover one side, you can cover it with your hand. Now I'm looking at a supplementary angle because that line makes a straight line, and I know that this is 180, so I can make this x right there if I wanted to find that. So I'll do 100x plus 100 equals 180. So for x, subtract 100, so x equals 80 degrees. So that means that this is 80 degrees. And if that is 80 degrees, let's call this angle 3. That means that this one, angle 4, is also 80 degrees. So those are vertical angles. Again, opposites like 1 and 2, they are called congruent. Opposite vertical angles, and congruent means the same. And adjacent angles on vertical are going to add up to 180. Any questions so far? Then we're going to have triangles. The inside angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So for example, if I give you x, 40, and 60, I can find the angle of the missing side. How? I just add this up. X plus 60 plus 40, all of that has to be equal to 180. Then I can combine my like terms, which is going to be this right there. So x plus 100 equals 180. Now I can do friends and family. Subtract 100, subtract 100. So x equals to 80 degrees. So this value right here is 80 degrees. And if I add 80 plus 40 plus 60, I should get 180 degrees as well. Lastly, we have circles. So for example, if I have an angle like this little square right there, that represents 90 degrees. Anytime you have this little square right there, that equals 90 degrees. Okay? So for example, if I have something like this, and I wanted to find the value of x, all this right here represents that it's going to make a full circle. So that's going to be equal to 360. So if I wanted to find x, all I had to do was set all this up equal to 60. So let's make it a little more complicated, 2x. So I can do 2x plus 30 plus 230 equals 360. Then I can combine my like terms. So 2x plus 260 equals 360. Okay? And then I subtract 260 on both sides. This cancels out. So 2x equals to 100. And my last step will be to divide by 2. Divide by 2. Cancels out. So x equals to 50. And I found the missing value. So again, this right here, they're 360 degrees total. Then we have triangles that add up to 180 degrees. Then we have vertical angles that opposite vertical angles are congruent. That means they're the same. And adjacent vertical angles add up to 180 degrees. Then we have supplementary angles that add up to 180 degrees. And the angles next to each other, they're called adjacent. And to start it with, we started with complementary angles, angles that add up to 90 degrees. I hope that you learned something today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, turn the notification bell on. Other than that, let's ride.